Let's go.
Hey team, I wanted to quickly discuss your 4 best protein sources and a few other things, some key considerations. Should you take protein powders? What protein types to take for what period of your health and fitness journey you're in, and other things. Let's dive in. So I've got 4 favorite protein sources. I love all my protein sources to come from whole foods. My number 1's chicken, 2 is steak, 3 is fish, 4 are eggs. Reason being, number 1, chicken, it's very versatile. It comes conveniently packed in marinades, things of that nature, so flavoring your chicken is really super easy. You can put it in the oven with their instructions and bake it. Tastes delicious, always tender, and really easy and affordable to keep in the house. I'll just get a whole butterfly chicken with marinade in there, pop it in the oven, and that's meal prep done for the week on a Sunday. And I can just sit on the couch and do nothing while it cooks in the oven. Just put a timer on for 50 minutes and I'm good to go. So I love it for that fact that it's convenient. And there's a bit of chicken thigh in there and a bit of chicken breast. So you're kind of getting a bit of the best of both worlds in my opinion. Flavor for 1, and then protein, a lean protein source for 2. So that's why I'd recommend getting chicken as a number 1 protein source, but it all depends on whether or not you want to eat it more. Number 2, steak. Steak is a great one. Now, I only eat eye-fillet steaks simply because I don't really find other steak enjoyable. I find it really high in fatty, so like I think porterhouse cuts and that sort of stuff are higher in fat. So for me, the drawbacks are that it's just a higher fat content protein powder, so it's not really worth it. I'd rather get my fat sources or the calories from those fats from other sources to keep me fuller for longer. So that's why I wouldn't choose any other cut of steak, maybe like a rump, but with the fat cut off. If you're dieting though, I'd recommend a 5% lean mince. Really good amino acid profile in beef, obviously, but we're gonna have a quarter of the fat that we would normally have from steak and mince and that sort of stuff. So I think definitely if you're dieting, do a 5% mince, maybe mixed in with some steak here and there, like 3 days to 2 days, just so you can have a bit more dieting freedom when you are trying to lose body fat, okay? Because it all adds up and all those calories make a difference. They're either gonna allow you to eat more fun food on the back end of your dieting phase in the day, or enjoy quality, that sort of stuff, okay? So number 2, 3. Okay, number 3, fish. I love fish for its digestibility. A lot of people say it's very easy on the stomach, so I love it for that fact. Cuts like fish like barramundi or bassa. Look, bassa tastes like dry cardboard, so maybe not bassa, but it's got a high protein content, low in fat, and barramundi is one of those as well. And that's quite a moist, enjoyable cut of fish, I find, or kind of fish. I'd steer away from things like salmon, simply because salmon is really high in fat, and I'd rather put those calories, those fat calories, to something else, but that's my personal preference. So if you're gonna have some, if you're cutting, I'd recommend barramundi, bassa, or other really lean cuts of fish or types of fish. If you're bulking or maintaining, salmon's a perfect choice. Number 4, I'm going to pick eggs. So I love eggs, I have them every day. They are higher in fat relative to the protein, so that's kind of why they're on the end of the list, because for 150 calories worth of eggs, which is 2 whole eggs, you're getting 10 grams of fat, 10 grams of protein. I just don't like that ratio of 50-50. I think that by the end of the day, if you're trying to hit 100 or 150 grams of protein, you'll have to have 150 grams of fat alongside that. And I just don't really like those ratios, because 150 grams of fat would blow out your calories heaps. So I think that's just a point to make as well. It's okay in the morning because fats digest a little bit slower, so you can have a nice slow burning fuel source in the morning. I have mine with toast typically, and that's just my personal preference, and that's what I recommend to my clients. Have it in the morning, don't have it at lunch or dinner. I just don't think it's relative to the protein content, I just don't think it's the best choice, but it is delicious and will keep you on track for your dieting goals if you just have, 2 to 4 eggs in the morning, something like that, okay? Now, I wanted to talk quickly about protein powders. What's the best choice? Why should you use it? When should you use it? So protein powder should be used purely for convenience. I'd recommend all my clients have whole foods versus supplements. However, if you're somebody that really struggles to get it in your diet, then I recommend getting a whey protein concentrate. That's a more cost-effective protein powder type, you can get a blend which is called WPI and WPC, and that's typically in a blend like Optimum Nutrition, I believe, do a blend, things of that nature. They're quite popular and they'll keep the cost of your protein down. Now, if you're someone that finds it hard to stomach protein powders, meaning it's upsets your stomach, a hydrolyzed whey protein isolate or a vegan protein might be the best go for you, but typically hydrolyzed whey protein isolate without lactose will help you be able to sort of get that down, plus benefit it's lower in fat and lower in carbs. Not by a whole lot, but you know, everything adds up over the course of a year. So I think those little habits and those little tips are really useful, just so you know what protein powder to use and when. But all the research that they've done shows that WPC is just as effective at building muscle as a WPI. So I really wouldn't stress, even if you're a top tier athlete, I just don't think it's worth it. So save your money, go with a WPI, go with a WPC or a WPI and PC blend. That's going to be the best protein source for you, no question. Now, all the kinds of protein sources you should use, I just want you to keep in mind, if you're in a bulking, maintaining or cutting phase of your weight loss journey or your health and fitness journey, typically the higher fat sources, chicken thighs, porterhouse cuts of steak, salmon, you're going to keep for your bulking or maintaining cycles. And then the cutting, you're going to do more chicken breast, eye fillet steak or 5% mince, barramundi, and eggs whites in a combination. Those would be my recommendations, just because you're eating the same volume of food virtually and you're getting like half the calories or 2/3 of the calories, because you're not getting any of that fat. And then you can use that fat calories that you would have from that meat or that protein source for something else in the day. I personally love an ice cream at the end of the day. That keeps me on track, so I have a little stick after eating a whole day's worth of good food. So I like putting my calories towards that. Everybody's different, but that's something that really helps me. So I thought I'd just make this quick video on the best protein sources you guys should have. In my opinion, I'm open to being wrong, but that's just what I feel like is the best for everybody. It really depends on what protein sources you enjoy eating every day, and if you can eat them every day. And typically that's the best source for you. Just be mindful of all the other considerations, fat content, and that sort of stuff. Hope this video helps, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.
I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9.